Earthy Love Medicine here. Today is day 57 of my solid food vacation. I have a lot of thoughts that I want to run over in this video. As far as my juice fast is going, I'm just trying to get in 5 juices a day. I kind of slipped on that for a little while. I kind of went through like a little, I don't know, a little hard time there and was only having like 3 to 4 a day. And I only went 3 like 2 to 3 times. I think it was 3 times, and it was in like a week and a half, 2-week period. So it didn't happen that many times where I only had 3. It was mostly like I was getting in 4, like barely. So I've really been working on like pre-juicing it where I'm not like nursing on it, so I don't have to make juice, because it started to become really monotonous to do juice and to make it every day. So bulking it and putting it in the fridge so that I could at least like, juice a day, juice one day and then not juice the next. And then sometimes not even the next if I juice enough, and then I don't have to juice again for another day because I have the Nama J2 juicer and it's amazing. And I'm able to juice a ton of juice at once. I mean, the other night before I went to bed, I juiced like 5 of one kind and then 4 of another. So I had 9 juices, but I needed one at the time. So I had one that night, the green juice, and then I put the other 3 green juices in there. And then I made like a watermelon, pineapple, lemon, which was just fantastic. I love it so much. And I made like 5 of those. So I've been nursing on those all day. I started out with the one you just saw me drinking, which is the watermelon, pineapple, lemon, super delish. And the watermelon makes a lot of juice, and the pineapple's really good, and so is the lemon. So, hey. And then the green juice. So it was like one of these green juice, one of these green juice, and now one of these again. And I'm literally still awake to do this video and to drink this juice so that I can get them all in. So as far as that's going, pretty good. I feel like I'm getting back on track a little better, where I'm not like skimping on the juice every day. I found a better solution for how I was getting my juices in every day. And then let's see, I've been really being diligent on the enemas, like the coffee, and that's really helping. I'm finally starting to actually pass stuff when I do the enemas. A lot of the time, liquid and it's cloudy, and then, I'll kick parasites and then maybe little bumps of stuff here and there, little chunks and that kind of stuff. But this morning I did it, and I actually had like, soft stuff come out, which is like, I feel like that's part of the mass I'm trying to get out. So, and then, I had a couple, and then this morning without doing an enema or anything, I had a good one too. So I feel like I'm finally starting to, get some of that out. Like I just, I'm tired of working at this, but I feel like this is just my journey. This is the way it's supposed to work for me. And then the triumph that I have is that today I got up and I weighed myself and I was 199 pounds. I haven't been under 200 since like 13. No, not 13. That's too long ago. 11 years ago. And the lowest I got, I think, was like 192 or 190, something like that. I can't really remember because it was quite a long time ago, obviously. And that's the last time I was under 2. And then I rode at like 235, between 225 and 235 for like a while. When I got married, everything. And then I got pregnant like 6 months into our marriage. And then the battle. But like a month into my marriage, we went vegetarian, so that was cool. I feel like that was kind of meant to be. It was really weird. Like our union made it so that we didn't like eat meat anymore. I don't know. So that, and then so I'm excited about the 199. Like really excited. My goal is 198. Like that's my first real big goal, because then obviously be under 2, and it's a solid count too, which is 90 pounds since I started being a vegan in 2020, New Year's 2020. So let me see if I can like calculate this. So I'm so lame. So if it's 90, then since the first of the year, it's 42. So 41 pounds right now. And then since I started the juice fast, it's 18 pounds. So I haven't lost that much on the juice fast, but it's only been, 57 days. So, I mean, I don't know. 18 pounds in 57 days isn't bad, but I mean, the fact that I haven't been eating, I mean, you'd think I'd be losing it more. But that's okay because I lost a big chunk in the beginning of the year. So what I like about the way that I'm losing the weight is that I'll lose a couple pounds and then I'll have like 3 or 4 or 5 days that I don't lose any weight. And then I'll lose another pound or 2, and then, I'll have, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days where I don't lose any weight. So it's like, it's healthily coming off my body. I feel like I'm not just dropping it so fast that I can't even like, I look weird. One thing that I'm pretty self-conscious about, but this isn't because of the juice fast. This is because I've lost 90 pounds, 89 pounds, as soon as I'm at 98, it'll be 90 pounds. And, excuse me. And the skin, because I'm not like working out and doing any of that kind of stuff, the skin is really loose, and it's, like, and my eyelids are really like, my skin, like I have so much skin from having a big face, like, just, I'm also 45, so obviously I'm going to have wrinkles, I'm going to have some of that, but I just feel like it's kind of exaggerated because of all the extra skin. Like it feels like, and then like my boobs, they're like, I've nursed some babies, so they're just not as full and voluptuous as they were. But, thank God my husband loves me and is attracted to me no matter what. But it just feels awkward for me. I'm self-conscious about it. He doesn't give a fuck. And then the last time and the time before that I got down under 100, my skin bounced back pretty well. And this time it's just not bouncing back the same. But granted, the first time in my early 30s, I got down to like 193, I think. And I was like working out all the time and hiking all the time and like really physical. So my body like really bounced into like, I had a little pooch and some skin, and, and it was like, but I was still young and my body was bouncing back. And then the last time, I was walking all the time and like, for hours. And so I was still getting physical, activity. But this time, my physical, I'm not like, I don't sit around all day. I was, but I don't do that now. I'm, constantly like making something for my kids or doing something, or, I really do, I'm on my feet a lot. But I'm not actually like working out and stretching or any of that kind of stuff. Now, I just did stretch a little bit earlier on in this fast, but I stopped doing that. Not for any particular reason other than just I don't know. I just don't have that oomph in me where I'm like doing all that. But I know that, excuse me, doing this is creating new patterns. So I'm learning how to, be more accountable for my time and stuff in a way where, I'm having the energy to be accountable for my time. I didn't really have that. And so I felt guilty all the time, but now I'm like learning to like use my time better again. And, I got really far gone there for a while. My house, it's literally like, when you get to a place of mental health, you like look around and you're like, bruh, my mental health clearly is reflected in my environment. It's not like disgusting, but I don't dust as much as I need to. I really do stay on top of the dishes and that kind of stuff because I'm in the kitchen a lot, and I just, yes, there's dishes in the sink sometimes, but they're not in there very long. But my family's pretty messy, and I have to be on top of that kitchen all the time. My floors, that's a brutal, I have a furry dog who like basically picks up everything, and he loves mud and dirt and digging holes and rolling in it, and he comes and flops in my house. And so I have to, and then my kids, so I have to like sweep like 3 or 4 times a day to keep it up, and I'm just not doing that. Sorry, guys. And then, the mopping, like I have to mop it pretty often too. And it's just like sometimes it's just so monotonous and just so much. And, when you're having mental health problems and my hands are breaking out, which they actually look pretty good right now, by the way, guys. They're still pretty itchy and funky, but they're not like cracked open the way they were. But when you have your skin's all messed up like that, it's really hard to get motivated to want to do anything because it hurts, which is really shitty. And, I've had it for so long, it's almost like, I don't know, I may not even know what it's going to be like to like be able to function without this crap on my hands, not hurting. But yeah, things are getting better. I'm getting more energy. So that's basically where I'm at with all of that stuff. So there's my fast. And then, excuse me, guys. So in the beginning of the video, I said that I had some stuff I wanted to talk about it. And so if you're still here 11 minutes into the video, then you stuck around to hear what I actually wanted to talk about. But I did want to give that update and just kind of give my thoughts on things that are going on. But one of the things that has really been on my heart that I'm bothered by is how there's so much of people trying to tell other people how to live their lives or what they're allowed to say or how they're allowed to be. But then nobody really wants to be told that, right? So there's constant conflict of everybody trying to make people be some kind of way. You don't like me being vegan, you hate vegans. You don't like that, vegans don't like people who eat meat because they're killing animals. And it's like, everybody's on their own journey, figuring out their own stuff. And if they're not in the place where they're not eating meat because that hasn't occurred to them, and that just doesn't, they're okay with it. We're all coming from that place at one point in our life, and some people, they're meant to go down a path like this, excuse me, and some people aren't. So, judging other people's journey or judging your own against another's is absolutely ridiculous. And it's what's wrong. It's what's wrong. Everybody thinks they have a right to judge somebody, whether it's based through their religion or their belief systems from their growing up or whatever the hell, it's like this. You're here to experience certain things. I wasn't born into a church or a religion or any of those things, but somewhere in my life I found Jesus. And then I went on a path where I kind of like questioned all of that. And because it took me to a religious place and to a place where, now people are going to go to hell and I'm worried about all these things. And, and I went to the church to help me understand the spiritual stuff that was going on with me. And instead they blocked all of that. Like and then I got all prescribed to some religion, and that was my journey. And I did that, and now I'm like through this fast, actually, I'm coming to this place where I realize and I kind of had this going already, but it's kind of taking it to another place. So it's already an idea that I had in there that I've been, kind of mulling over and talking to my creator about. And, me calling out to Jesus or, having that relationship, it led me to the path where I'm at right now. I can look all the way back all these years now because I'm in this place of growth. And, I have this perspective right now where I can look back and I can see the part, I can see everything and how it's unfolded and how it's led to this. So anyways, the whole point of saying that is that I don't want to have people treat me funny for saying the name of Jesus, because it's just this path really did choose me. So even though I've been really sensitive about saying that or whatever, what I realize is that we're all filtering ourselves because we don't want anybody to come against us. I am not a Bible thumping, Jesus loving, crazy person who thinks I have a right to tell anybody anything. The truth is that if I came against anything, it would be religious institutions, because I feel like the religions are what keep people away from relationship with self and relationship with their creator, if that is something that they really truly desire. Because they're telling you, you need the churches, you need these people to give you the community that you need and all these things, but they're taking you away from the relationship that you have with your own soul and your own body and your own self. Yes, community is a beautiful thing. And yes, I do believe in a lot of ways it's very necessary. But I also believe that self love and self understanding is the most necessary. And, I don't care what you believe. Whatever you believe, that's your path, that's your journey. You're right where you're supposed to be, and that's okay. But so am I. And I'm really sad of how many people are being treated like shit and ridiculed because they're out there sharing their story, like on YouTube and other places. And then there's, these are platforms for people to share information that they've learned through their own experience or whatever it is that they want to do. And for someone else to come along and think that they have a right to put somebody down or say horrible things about them because they don't agree with what they're doing, they can go fuck themselves, really. It's because it's bullshit. And I feel very passionate about the fact that the world we live in right now, everybody has something to say about everybody else. But what about personal accountability? What about taking responsibility for how you affect others? Right? Come on now. And nobody wants to be responsible for their actions and the things that they're saying. And a lot of people are hiding behind their screens and saying these really mean things. Come to me on the street and say those things to my face. Not because I'm going to beat you up or not because I'm going to be confrontational, but because if you're going to be that kind of person where nobody could see your face and nobody can hold you accountable, then be that person everywhere you go. Stand in that. Let that be your truth. Because that's what being a real person is. If you're a dick, be a dick everywhere, all the time, right? But you have no right to diminish and ridicule and hurt other people because you are afraid of their truth or whatever your reasons are. And so I find myself compelled to let people know the real disease that's happening right now is people not being accountable and not people not taking responsibility for themselves and how they affect others. And the truth is I don't care what you do in your bedroom. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what you're doing, who you love, who you don't love, who you hate. I don't care about any of it because that's your life. And if we find a commonality that we can, come together and like have an understanding or a love, or we could touch each other's life in some kind of way, that's a beautiful thing. But what you're doing with your life is none of my business. And what I'm doing with my life is none of your business. I share the things that I want to share, but that's not because I'm putting it up for people to ridicule. I'm doing that so I could share my experience so that someone else who might be going through the same similar things might have found something that they can relate to or touch, get a heart touch with, And it's like there's so many issues going on right now about people's genders and there are all these things, and it's like, that's okay if that's what you're doing, because that's what you're doing. That's your journey. You figure out who you are and what you're doing, and I'm good with that. But like, do you, right? And I'm going to do me, right? And I don't have to agree and I don't have to disagree. And you don't have to agree with me or disagree. You don't have to like me and I don't have to like you. But why do we all have to be mean about it? Your way isn't the only way, and neither is mine. That was the point of bringing up Jesus. My way isn't the only way. Your journey is your journey, and it's going to lead you where you're meant to be, because every moment you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So for me to sit here and tell you that my Jesus is your prescription and that that's going to work for you and give you what you're looking for, I can't say that. I can only say that my experience is that I didn't want to want Jesus and I didn't want to need Jesus, but Jesus seems to keep finding me and keeps coming back and being a constant in my life. And I can't sit up here and pretend like that's not true. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm not a Christian, and I don't see things like somebody who's in a church. I don't support organized religion, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody by this, but I don't. Because I don't need another brainwashing institution that wants my money. And I've been to all kinds of churches, y'all. I've been to Catholic, I've been to Baptist, I've been to Pentecostal. At 15, I was baptized in a Mormon church because they came and knocked on my door, But God could use whoever he wants. Because as soon as I came to Christ later on in my life, he showed me how that was a turning point in my life, where some of the protection that I already had on me was stronger because I had done that. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. But that doesn't mean because somebody else hasn't had my experience that now they're going to burn in hell or some bullshit. It's like this. If the God of the Bible is the God that is going to condemn me because I was born into a sinful world and in a shitty world, and then I make mistakes and do shitty things and now I'm burning in hell, I don't fucking think so. Just like if you're born in a Buddhist family and you love people and you're a good human being, how dare somebody say that you're going to burn in hell because the religion your family gave you? Oh, everybody's going to hear Jesus's name one time. Do you know how many times I thought of that? Like that everybody's going to hear Jesus's name before he comes. Everybody's going to know who he is. And maybe that's true. I mean, it looks like it, right? But that doesn't mean that that's who they're meant to call on in their lifetime. Who am I to say that? Who am I to say any of that? Why? Because some Bible that I'm reading says so, or because some pastor or some other Christian is telling me that that's the way it is? My heart knows that's not true. The religious institutions are designed to keep us relying on someone else instead of relying on ourselves and trusting our own voice inside. And our own voice does answer. It does. And then the Most High, God, whoever you, whatever, the universe, you could call it whatever you want. I'm not against you because that's your journey to figure it out. And that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is that you don't think that you have the right to be any kind of way to me because my beliefs aren't yours. And vice versa. Simple, y'all. It's so simple. And yet it's one of the hardest things for anybody to grasp at this point. So that's what I'm talking about personal accountability. Worry about how you're affecting other people and stop being so motherfucking affected. You feel me? So yes, this is about juicing. Yes, but this is also about life. We're all going through our own shit, figuring out who we are and what we're here for and what we're doing, or we're not. But that's really not for anybody to say. I'm the type of person who's dedicated to evolving and like learning more and being this way and that way, but not everybody's like that. Not everybody gives a shit about spirituality. Not everybody needs God. Not everybody feels like they do. And then one of the things I hate the most is people who are really wrapped up in their really strict religions or their religious belief systems. They see somebody and they immediately are like, here's a little pamphlet, you need Jesus, or coming up to you like, hey, I really think I need to talk to you about Jesus. Why? Because I have a piercing or because my hair is purple? Like I automatically am going to go to hell and you're worried about me? Like, what the fuck? When you actually look at Jesus's life, if we're actually going to talk about that, he didn't even like the church, right? So why are everybody acting like they're going to go to heaven because they go to church every Sunday? Give me a break, And I know I sound like a lot of like anti-Christian people. I love Jesus though, and I have a relationship with my Creator, But it's not even about that. It's about people letting people be who they are and what they're doing and stop trying to get people to prescribe to what you're doing. If you're a vegan and that's what you're doing and it makes you feel good about yourself and your life and it's what's right for you, good for you. Nobody gives a fuck, right? Because that's what you're doing. Is anybody going to change it? Is anybody going to stop you? Then be you and enjoy it. Why does it now have to be some crusade where now everybody has to be vegan? Because that's what works for you. That's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life is every time I would get excited about something or I would get passionate about something, I want everybody to like be on that page with me. And it's like, that's not real. Not everybody has had the same experience in life in you. Not everybody sees the world the same way. That's the whole point about being a person, is that you have your own self, you have your own opinions, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own everything. And to silence that because people are trying to get their feelings hurt when they really need to just be focusing on their own life and their own mental and emotional health, it's bullshit. You clean up what you got going on in your yard and I'll keep my side of the street clean, It's like this. Don't tread on me and I won't tread on you. No, nothing particular happened to me. That's not where this is coming from. Um, this has kind of been building, and then a really great channel that I watch, Jillian Berry. And if you are in this world, you probably have seen her. And I think she's a great channel because she produces information and people on her channel that offer different perspectives. So it's not just she's a raw vegan, but then she also brings people on who were raw vegan or who were vegan, who decided not to be vegan. And she gives the different perspectives and lets people, kind of puts a platform for people to tell their story. Excuse me. And she, she's going through personal stuff in her life, so that's part of the reason that this kind of pushed her over the edge. But people attacking her, and the person that was attacking her was the same channel that like I came across a couple of months that was just hacking Christina into the ground. Fully Raw Christina, you know, a lot of us, we know who she is, but for those of you who are just new to this, her name is Fully Raw Christina, and she's been in this for a long time. And she puts out her recipes and she gives out information because she's healed her type 2 diabetes or something like that, or and she you know, just really wants people to, you know, be inspired by this life and try to be healthier. And, you know, if she healed herself, naturally she wants to help other people heal. It's a beautiful thing. And here's this person just hacking her to the ground, you know, and I didn't even watch the person's channel initially because I clicked on that. I actually clicked on like, oh, what did I eat? What I ate today is a frugivore or some crazy thing. And then the next thing I know, I'm seeing this Christina video and it made my gut kind of turn, you know, and then I watched it and I was just like, this, like, hater, like, what the hell is wrong with her? You know, and I look at her subscribers and I'm like, oh, there you go. She has like 40,000 subscribers and, you know, Fully Raw Christina has millions. At least I think at the time it was like 1.3 million or something. And I was just like, clickbait. She put her name in there and then just hacked her to the ground. You know, and so when I saw that this happened with this other lady and that she was trying to come against it, and the girl ended up like losing, like getting another strike on her channel and losing it or something like that. And, you know, now this lady's like harassing her even more and it's like a whole big deal. But, anyways, that kind of triggered me because I've already been bothered by the fact that all of these like, things that are happening right now with people trying to silence you because you don't believe in what they believe in, or, you know, I mean, there's so much controversy and people should be able to say how they feel about it, even if it doesn't go along with what everybody is thinking and feeling. You know, honestly, I think a lot of us are thinking and feeling a lot of stuff like similarly and aren't sharing that stuff because we feel silenced. You know, I can't speak on any other color other than myself because then that's my white privilege and it's just like, give me a fucking break. You know, I've been treated racist again. You know, I grew up in a biracial family in a melting pot area around all different types of races. And I promise you, I've had every single race be racist against me, period. So, you know, just that. And then, you know, all this stuff with the LGBTQ and the trans, you know, and all this stuff. It's like, I'm not against any of you. I'm not against any of that. We're all people. My light, your light, our light. We are one. We're all in this together. But that doesn't give you a right to come against me. I had this gay guy at a Starbucks call me a breeder. So, you know, because I have children and a family, I was kind of like, I guess it's good that I'm not like super easily offended, but that was fucking rude. If I would have said some weird, like stereotypical, whatever my ideas are about gay people to him, he probably would have had an uproar. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we're just living in a world where it's like, you could say what you want to say, but I can't say what I want to say. I don't care what you're doing. Just like with the they and the them, that shit is confusing. You know, I know somebody around me that like, that wants to be called that. And so like all my kids and everybody are like, oh, they and them. And I'm like, well, who was with them? And they're like, what do you mean they were by themselves? And well, then why do you keep saying they and them? Like, I can't. It's so hard for me to wrap my mind around. And I don't want to change my language that I grew up learning. I just, you know, a they and a them is a lot of people, not, or a couple of people, not one. And it's confusing as fuck. So, you know, hey, that's how you want to be talked to or referred to, but you're asking me to change my language in the way that I talk and the person that I am so that you could feel comfortable in your own skin about not being anything in particular. Like, that's really confusing to me. So I'm not mad about it. I just don't care. Do you? You don't want to be called anything, or you want to be called all kinds of things. I don't know. Like when you call, if you called me a they and a them, that means like I got personalities, like, you know. And if this is a sensitive topic to you, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. My point about all of this is that who gives a fuck? I'm not putting my energy into that and what you're doing and who you're sleeping with and what genitals you have and all that kind of stuff. So leave me and my genitals and my family and my breeding alone. Right? I'm not fucking with you, and I'm not over here talking shit about you. I really don't care. Right? So that's the point. Everybody needs to work on themselves, figure out their own shit, be accountable for how they affect others, and leave people the fuck alone and stop standing on mountains that they're going to die on that aren't, you know, worth it. Right? Because battling with me and saying bad things to me, or battling with other people and saying bad things about them because you don't agree. I mean, come on, the Biden Trump thing was the stupidest shit on earth. The fact that anybody bought that puppet show always just made me roll my eyes inside my heart. Like, how could anybody look at all of this and actually see like a real thing going on here? This is all a joke. And the joke was on us because now we have the biggest clown running our country. And the whole thing is that none of those people are running anything, you know? And that's the hard part. Nobody wants to see that, like, we're just, you know, Shakespeare said it best, darling. He said, the world is a stage and we are all players. Right? So I just didn't want to play that game. And it was controversial for people to deal with me because they'd start to talk to me about Trump or Biden. And I was like, I don't think that either of them really matter. Who's our president? Biden. Okay, but he's not running nothing, y'all. You know, for all we know, Obama's in his ear, serving his third term. Who knows, right? But, you know, we can all sit here and be like, well, Trump was the best. Gas was great then. And now that Biden's here, grass is horrible. Gas, and all that kind of shit. Guess what? It was all planned. Trump, Biden, it's all part of the plans. That's why Simpsons had Trump in there. Come on, guys. It's all planned. They tell us what they're going to do. And you can think I'm crazy, whatever, you know, do you. And I'm going to do me, right? And that's what I really wanted to talk about tonight, other than the fact that I'm fasting. But now I'm a half an hour in. I can't imagine anybody's hung on this long. And if you have, thank you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't hit the notification bell already, do that shit. Then you can hear more of what I got to say about all kinds of dumb shit. No. Then you can, you know, check on my journey and, you know, hear my crazy thoughts. Yeah. It's funny because I'm like day 57 and I've only uploaded up to like day 20. So I need to get on that. I don't know. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Take care until next time.